here with Dr. Lamar and Annie Ridgles in Kernersville, North Carolina. And we just want to know, what brought you all this way to Kernersville?
We actually came looking for Charlotte because the Lord spoke to my wife about starting a ministry in Charlotte.
That's right.
But we found a house out here in Kernersville.
Okay.
And so, we just liked it.
Yep, the Lord just directed us, and so we should be opening something soon or launching some miracle services, and we're in Greensboro. We've been coming to Greensboro. We had just been getting in the car, coming to a hotel on the side of the road, bringing people, not knowing anything about North Carolina, didn't know anything about Charlotte really for about 2 years, and doing outreach at the hotel, packing up, leaving, going back to Virginia, and went to preach in Ohio, and I heard Charlotte. And 3 weeks later, actually, when I found this house, I thought it was a scam, and I said, let me go and see this scam, because it's just it's a scam. And when I stepped out, Lord said, that's your house. And the rest is history so far.
So have you started I hear you say you're starting a ministry, or you've been doing ministry here?
We launched in Charlotte on Betty Ford Road. We started just doing services, and we've been doing missions off and on. So this August, we're supposed to relaunch, by God's grace, some type of movement, and it's radical, it's different. I can't be in the box of church, so it's got to be something different. What I've decided to call it is the Adullam encounter, because David had 400 men met him in the counter. They were distressed, they were perplexed, they was in debt, and from that place in that cave where he was hiding and being restored, these men turned into mighty men. And so that's what I want to happen at the Adullam encounter. So we should start that in June.
Okay, Dr. Lamar, what has been your take so far since you've been in Kernersville? Have you got to meet a lot of men here in, fellowship, or, I know it's still kind of new, because I know you said y'all haven't been here that long, but for the time that you've been here, what have you been doing with ministry?
Yeah, it's been a lot of different things, because we started out, of course, on chartered to do something new here, but we were still working with our hub in Virginia. And so it was
at first.
It was literally at first.
The first 6 months we was driving 8 hours
back and forth
every weekend to do services, because we couldn't let go of Virginia. Couldn't let go.
But you ask about meeting. I was still working too, so you throw in. At first, I actually took a year off from work. We were living in Virginia. God made a way that I didn't have to work. We came here, I went back on the job. And so it has been a little tricky to be able to work in this area. As a matter of fact, we went to start the ministry in Charlotte, and but it was still going back to Virginia, then back to Charlotte, and then still trying to do what we had to do. And Atlanta.
We're going to Atlanta.
We were spread a little thin. A little thin.
Well, I know that just from my time being around you all and following you, Dr. Annie, online on Facebook, that you've been dealing a lot with the prophetic. You've been moving, you've been activating, you've been strengthening. As you continue to go forth, where is God truly now? As you told me that He's moving you to something else, what are you looking to come out of all of this?
Well, I had an encounter with Jesus in my living room about 1.5 years ago. January 1st, 2021, I went to heaven for 1 hour and 40 so minutes. And in that encounter was a phenomenal encounter, was life-changing. A lot of the things in my life changed. After that, he told me to train 25 leaders. And that was the cutting away of doing church as usual. But I have been personally on a journey to go beyond the veil to a realm of submission and power that's I feel is uncommon in the U.S. Now, I don't know. I've been to everybody's ministry. I know I've been to most of the major ministries, and I feel called to a higher dimension. And I've had several encounters. And so the next phase, to answer your question, the next phase is bringing people into an atmosphere that's conducive for they too can have an encounter and a deposit in impartation of the power of God, and releasing men and women into their ascension gift, to take people on an ascension journey in the middle of a service, to experience koinonia right there individually and collectively. So, and that's just, it takes time. So if we're tarrying there for 45 minutes, 2 hours, if we're all night, whatever it takes to open those heavens, because we need something, we need an empowerment to do the work of God.
Well, I've noticed that you've written several books, and I see you have one here called Apostolic Activation, 98 Days to Activate Your Mandate. Can you tell us a little bit about that book?
Well, it took me 4 years to write. It was excruciating. It was the most painful book I have written, but it was a journey into the apostleship, and I was discovering about my apostleship, and I was writing scribe as a scribe prophet. So I'm writing about revelations I've never experienced and encountered. So now I'm going back in Dominican Republic on a mission field, opening my book, reading it, saying, you need to be doing this, you need to be doing that. You know, that was just bizarre to me. So went through the book of Acts, and there's all kind of revelation in there that didn't come from me. I scribed it under the scribe anointing, and you know, I've written the Apostolic Shift, written 4 or 5 other things that are coming out, a leader's manual. Got several books coming out this year, about 5 books. So
Okay. Well, I see that you said that book you're going back now reading stuff that you've scribed. I know that y'all just took a trip to Dominican Republic, and y'all been doing a great work over there. I noticed that y'all, I remember the first project you told me was that y'all wanted to put the pumps over there for the water, and I saw the pictures and stuff of what happened. But this last trip, you was over there for almost 30 days.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little? Can you tell us a little bit about what took place over there? What you've done? What it is? The mission that you have over there. I know it's not finished because you still have more work to be done. But I know I've just been following and seeing some of the things that y'all have posted so far. I'll start with you, Dr. Lamar.
Yeah.
Cut the doctor. He's not a doctor.
Okay.
We neither one of us are doctors. I just had to say it when it was his turn.
I thought you just prophesying.
We receive it. Honorarium.
But you said a good thing. We just started over there, and it was it's a trailblazing work. A lot of it took. First of all, everybody speaks Spanish over there, but luckily my wife has her Italian background, was really translated pretty well over there. I have my high school Spanish, so between the two of us, we made a way. My wife has a very good anointing for finding buildings and a lot of things like that. So what God has put inside of her and what we've already done, it just came together. Now, of course, we had the learning curves, like just anybody else would, but we began to find a place. We looked at a couple different buildings to actually have the church. That's what God wanted. Before we left, my wife found that there is a big problem with prostitution there, especially with children, boys and girls. So one of the things, we wanted to dive into that, but we saw there was also a lot of homeless children. So by the time we left, we had a house where the boys, right now it's boys I can go to that are homeless. And a big part of that my wife actually had to do, because I had to go back and start making money again. I took off from work. Again, I just put the job to the side and decided to go do the work, but then I had to come back and make money. And then of course, while I was gone, the real work, my wife was doing all her and the
what do you call that? Guardian. So I was grabbing kids in my car and getting threatened by my life. I was out on the street at night because I just was determined to put these children, and I knew that even though it's right and it's what they need, they may not even understand what it feels like to be embraced like that. So I started off just having dinners at my house and cooking for them, and not preaching, not anything, because I really didn't know what was going to come out of it. I didn't know we could get apartment there. I didn't know we could get furniture there. I didn't know what we could do. And so that was supernatural, because normally they want 4 months rent, and there's a lot of scams for Americans. So we actually found a man who did the same thing. He housed 70 or 80 young people, took them off the street. Out of all the people, just randomly met him. I don't even remember how we met him. And
we were looking for one place.
we went looking for a place,
that he owned,
and he
that was an
owned
office
it.
building.
So God just lined it up. And so when I left 8 boys in the house from the street, took them off the street, and we had to raise the money for a stove, for a fridge. Things are tough in Dominican Republic, and I experienced warfare like I have never in my life, but we made it.
I just want to add one thing too. I'm just going to be completely transparent. The endeavor to start putting these boys in a place, it didn't start like we were looking. We were actually going to a store. Believe it or not, just like we have stores over here, and Asians are able to make a good buck there. The stores ran by Asians in the middle of the Dominican Republic. But so we went in there. We're coming out of this store just with a few different things.
Yeah, that's right.
And there's these 2 Haitian boys who are homeless,
Begging.
begging. And in my mindset, I'm like, I see them as everybody else, because a lot of people there, that's their thing.
That's right.
They see people who are foreigners, and they're trying to get your money, not rob you. They're trying to, they're doing what they can to get to eat. But I wasn't paying them any attention. I'm just gonna be honest.
It was a brush off. It could have easily been a brush off.
Okay, yeah, okay. They all right. Well, let's go.
Yeah, basically. We'll give you a few coins,
Yeah.
out of being a good Christian. But earlier that day, the Holy Spirit had told me, go out and gather young people.
He
And I
actually told you
kept
Jamaica.
it.
Jamaica, I think, is the first time you heard it.
Yeah, but he told me that morning, and I kept it in the back of my mind. I'm not doing church or doing whatever I'm supposed to be doing here with nobody. If I got to go out and get anybody, I'm cooking, and people are coming, and they're going to eat. And so when those 2 boys approached us, I said, you want to come to my house tonight and eat? And they said, yep. And so we didn't know them. We didn't know the threat. We didn't know whether they were on drugs, whether they were going to rob us. And that night we had a house full of boys eating rice and beans and listening to Cuban music. That's what we did. That was our means, and we just kept doing it. And I want to say this, because once I saw that you can do this, you can do this. You can. You just have no idea how this started, how my husband and I were watching a movie on human trafficking, and I was sitting there saying, one day I'm going to do something about that. I'm not going to be the average American. One day, I don't care if it's in Cambodia, I don't care. And then we were right, Boca Chica is one of the top child sex trafficking trades. They get right off the plane, go 15 minutes to the park, sit in the park, and pick up children. Grown men, and it is Americans and Europeans. They're the only ones that they get right off the plane. It's a 2-hour flight. Go straight to the park, sit there. They've been taught what to do on the black web, and they pick up boys, especially young girls. So it's a sad thing, and no one's doing anything about it.
Well, that's a great work that both of you are doing, and I just applaud you. Not saying that I couldn't do it, but I applaud you, because not just there, but like I said, I followed you. I followed y'all's some of your videos and stuff of what y'all been doing online. I am just overjoyed, because you're making a difference. And that's what it takes. You just have to have the mindset to go forth, to make a difference, to do it. And we know that God is leading the way, because if you're like me, I don't think I would just up and do it. But I know if I'm led by God and He's directing, then that's what it does. And that's what I like about what both of y'all have in place, is that, I always hear you talk about that no matter what God say, if He tell you to do it, you're going to do it. You ain't second guessing it. You ain't go doubt it. You just going to move, and it just brings me back to when you said that He spoke to you when you was in Virginia, told you just to up and move,
That's right.
and y'all just let everything go.
Yeah. I only heard one word, Charlotte. And I can't say that God specifically said, take the boys off the street. He didn't say anything of it, but it was the thing to do. It was being a good Samaritan. It was, you can't see this and go back. Get on the plane and just act like you didn't see it.
Right.
If you got the, and it was a stretch. So there we were. I mean, and it was a dangerous thing. I didn't see it as dangerous at first, you know, because I was trying not to let fear get in my mind. But it had some dangerous, you know, implications to it. But we made it through. And I definitely realized that all souls matter. Even those little boys that it's like, well, what are they going to do? The enemy really fought me for those 4 little boys. And, you know, I was just asking myself, well, why? Why would 4 little boys matter? You know how many starving children there are? India, Pakistan. But the Lord showed me, but once he doesn't have that blood, he's got foot soldiers that eventually he's already sexually perverted them, opened them up to spirits. And that's, once you take those boys off the street and you turn that around, you close a portal. And so that's what I actually went to do when I asked the Lord, now why am I really here? And he said, I need you to, I hope I'm not being too deep, I need you to shut the portal that's open. There's a lot of blood, and not just literal blood like voodoo blood, but sexual blood that's being, sacrificed to the spirit. And the spirit that actually confronted me in the middle of the night, shape-shifted, showed up in my room and said, you can't do this anymore, said, you think I'm Catholic? I'm not Catholic, I'm Lucifer. And right across from this park is a huge Catholic church. And so I was thinking, well, some of those movies I saw were right. Some of those movies I saw, there's a movie called The Priest where it's like a whole cover up in the Catholic. And I said, because this thing confronted me. And then, and it threatened me, and it physically touched my body. I had a touch of infirmity from that confrontation the rest of the time, probably until about a week and a half ago. So it was not an idle thread. And so those spiritual wickedness are what caused you to actually go into a sin. And it was the heartbreaking moment for me. You weren't there, but I had to ask the young men, and I had a translator, have anybody approach you for sex? I just have to know. Because one little boy said, I've been on the street since I was 5. One said, I've been on the street since I was 6. One since I was 4. Literally living on the street. Nobody, people driving by and see these children sleeping on the street and saying how sad it is, and people talking about it. Hey, did you see all those children sleeping in front of that store every night? It's so sad. And the governor, the church, the pastor, the Catholic nuns, no one stopping to do anything. And this goes on for not 1 year, 2 years, up to 10 years it's been going on. And so there are people that go and feed them, but there's no one saying, well, let me bring you in. And when I asked him that, and he just began to cry, and I said, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay, because we failed you. We failed you. You're a child. And I just gave him a hug, and it just, that moment, it was just, no, this is your responsibility now. God didn't have to tell me to do it. It's when the word becomes life.
Right.
You and the will of God are in one. So you didn't have to say anything to me. It's just, you know what to do. You have the means. I didn't have the means, really, financially, to do it. But you're going to do something so that you can sleep at night.
Yeah. Well, you asked a lot that could sow. And I noticed that you got what you needed. You met the goals that you needed to get the beds and all of that. I know you talked about that you're getting ready to go back because you have some more work that needs to be done over there. So when you go back this next round, what are you going back to do?
Well, there's no program in place. There's nothing. They're just sitting in the house. What I'm going back to do is open up a barber shop. There's a young man that said he'll train them in barbering. I'm going to open up a barber shop and try to get them skilled trade. Because if you give a man a trade, young man, then he can go out and at least he's always has he may not ever get his visa or immigration papers, but if he can work construction, if he can cut hair,
Teach them how to fish.
that's right. And so I'm hoping to take as many skilled laborers with me about every quarter to start doing hands-on workshops. And this is what, to be honest, Americans that are sitting back, we have it so good. You need this. You need this, and it's not just Africa, and it's places that are very close. Dominican Republic is very close to America. Puerto Rico, very close.
One of the things to put in the mind is ultimately there's a lot of work that can be done in a place like Dominican Republic, and it's such a disparity because it's one of the highest destinations for tourism in the world. So you have the touristy places, but you have the place in between that people don't get to see where the actual people live. And there's so much, like she said, it's just on the infrastructure, there's education, there's things that people need and can have that can better that country. But at the same time, that country is actually structurally, not just like roads. Organizationally, it's very, very behind, decades behind.
Yeah, probably about 40 years. And I met the mayor of a city that I've been visiting and giving out food. And he said, we've got a water pump, Annie, but we can't get water to the people's houses. So you talking about PVC pipe? You can't get PVC pipe in 40 years. And so you got a pump and people have to carry water on their heads in 2022 when the largest resorts are 30 miles down the road.
They got that
making money, and people get on the plane, go to Punta Cana, go to Samaná, right outside of this place, and people can't even, and they actually, I didn't know this, but I had a dream. God did give me a dream, and they have a stomach virus, a cancer from drinking the polluted water. They've been doing it for so long, and nobody just seems to care. So this mayor, I went to him, prayed with him, and I said, look, what can I do? And not knowing that, he said, well, let's work together, let's fix it. So that's another thing I plan to do. I don't know how I'm going to do it. You think I was begging before. You ain't see nothing yet, because we only raised $500. Everything else came out of our pocket. We probably need about $50,000. Let's just say at the bare minimum, $20,000. To not just get the piping, but the labor to run it.
Okay.
We're gonna have to get people to run it, and you got to get the faucet. Got to go underground, right? That's what I know. Listen, my husband's gonna take off another 30 days, and we just have to get out there. That's how desperate it is. It's just we're gonna have to get. And this is the thing: that people are great, the Dominicans, at surviving because they are wiring up their own electricity.
Wow.
I'm talking entire cities. There's no one's. You make it. There's no government to put any electricity in place. So people are just winding up themselves. We walk by and see people welding with no shoes and no hats, but they're making it.
Oh, no welding shield.
No welding shield, nothing.
Wow. Well, we're gonna wrap this up here. But I am just thankful that God has you doing this assignment. I'm thankful for the book that's out, and which I don't have yet, but I will be getting. But I just thank you all for just allowing us this time just to sit down and chat and tell us what's going on, because a lot of us over here don't know. A lot of us haven't been there. People go there for vacations, but not really knowing the actual work that needs to take place. So again, we here at HGBN, thank you. Where we make it happen. We're going to make this happen.
That's right.
We're going to help you make it happen.
That's good.
We're going to do what we can and put it out here. How can people reach you? Give us, if you got a Cash App, if you got a website or whatever that people can sow to you all.
Okay, so the best way, we have a mission page that It's awnworld.com/missions, MISSIONS, or just awnworld.com, and you'll get to that page, and they can give. There's Tithely, there's Zelle, Cash App is $AWN Global, and we're asking people to just do $22. We can get 100 people to do $22. That will at least allow us to get over. The boys don't really have beds; they have air mattresses.
Okay.
So we can get a bed for $150. We just need 2 beds. And then there's the barber shop and the things, because it does matter what we do, because without the children being there, guess what? Child predators don't have if you close a strip club down, families can be restored sometimes. So we're working on both ends. It's helping America, because Americans are the ones that are frequenting these children. So they can give there. They can go to AWN Shift Summit. We have a conference coming up soon, and there's so much history about the people, because they're actually black people. So we don't know. 60,000 slaves were thrown into the water, and they only made it to Samaná, Dominican Republic. So there's culture for us. There's heritage and legacy.
Okay. And what is your Facebook page? Is it the same thing?
Facebook /Annie, ANNIE, Ridgle, RIDGLE. YouTube /Annie Ridgle. So they can find me there.
All right. Well, again, we thank you.
You're welcome. I'm honored.
Well, again, we have been here in Kernersville, North Carolina, with Annie and Lamar Ridgle, and they have given us their story on what brought them to Kernersville. They have given us the story on what has taken them to Dominican Republic to do a great work that God has established in them. As we continue to go, let's follow them, let's support them, let's do what we do. And we'll touch bases again in maybe another month or so to see what their progress has been. Bye-bye for now.